When my grandfather went hunting in the mountains, he saw a vixen being mounted by a starving wolf. He immediately raised his hunting rifle, preparing to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Who would have imagined that the vixen would speak to him? "Old man, if you save my life today, in the future I will surely give myself to you." My grandfather thought for a moment, raised the rifle, and finished off the ferocious wolf. Just as the white vixen had promised, that very night, she slipped into his bed. At dawn the next day, the white vixen had disappeared, but beside my grandfather's pillow, a newborn baby girl had appeared. That was my mother. Naturally, my mother had upturned eyes, and when she walked, her waist swayed like a snake, but my grandfather despised her, saying that her body carried the smell of a fox. So he took her straight to the banks of the Yellow River and threw her into the river. But unexpectedly, my mother not only did not drown, but the Dragon King caught her with his hands, and upon smelling that fragrance, dragged her straight into the Dragon Palace. However, in less than half a month, my mother's belly swelled. At first, she thought she would become a princess above all dragons, but the Dragon King, instead of being pleased, flew into a violent rage and directly locked her in a freezing, biting water dungeon, issuing a fierce threat. "When this dragon child is born, I will devour it alive to gain 100 years of cultivation." My mother, in order to protect me, on the day of my birth, struggled with all her strength to escape from the Yellow River, then entrusted me on the riverbank to a green-feathered phoenix that had failed in its transcendence. "I beg you, save my child. He carries the protection of true dragon blood. In the future, he will surely repay your kindness and achieve nirvana rebirth. Wait just 9 more days." As soon as she finished speaking, my mother collapsed into the river, swept away by the surging waters, and from then on, she was never seen again. Who would have thought that the wounded phoenix would suddenly emit a flash of light, transforming into a woman dressed in white linen? She gently embraced me. This transformed phoenix was called Yun Su Shin. From then on, he, who was actually she, unexpectedly became my master. The night my master took me to her residence, the news that I was the true dragon and tiger had always been rumored in the world. Whoever could obtain the true son of the dragon could rise rapidly in their career and gain boundless wealth. But my master established an iron rule. Only those born in a yin year, month, and day, with a body of deep yin purity, could approach this child, and all who approached could be reborn in bone and change their fate against heaven. When the news spread, the village, once quiet, suddenly became lively. The gate of my master's house was surrounded by a crowd. At first, people doubted, but the master raised her hand, and an invisible barrier spread through the air. The rain was completely blocked outside, and the place where the crowd stood did not get wet at all. Seeing this, everyone was stunned, and then chaos erupted. Everyone rushed forward, competing to send their daughters to make a contract with me. My master, already an expert in physiognomy and divination, examined each one carefully and, with great effort, selected on the spot 18 3-year-old girls with a natural deep yin body. The deep yin body could neutralize the pure yang dragon chi within me, allowing me to live stably until the age of 18. Immediately after, the master took the tip of my finger, and using the blood of the true dragon as a guide, made these 18 maidens establish blood-bound memories with me. Then she ordered them to guard me through the entire night. Indeed, that night, strange sounds descended from the sky, lightning and thunder intertwined. Furious winds accompanied a storm unseen in a century, and the waves of the Yangtze River roared violently. A deep grave dragon's roar emerged from the riverbed, sending chills down the spine. It was the Dragon King, coming in search of the dragon aura I had just released. But fortunately, thanks to the destinies of the 18 maidens who protected me with all their strength, I remained safe throughout the night without suffering the slightest harm. The next morning, my master dismissed the 18 maidens and solemnly warned their parents. "From now on, your 18 families will become the most prominent noble houses in all sectors, but this heavenly fortune will last only 18 years. When the 18 years are up, one woman must marry my disciple. Otherwise, you will all fall into misfortune." Just as my master had foretold, these 18 maidens were imbued with my dragon aura, and their fates were completely transformed. The fastest among them paused only briefly to rest on the way home, when a large bag of gold ingots fell right in front of her from the branches of a tree. From then on, she never had to worry about food or clothing. The slowest, after 3 months, barely moved a little, but on a shelf, she discovered in a crack in the wall an entire box of rare and precious jewels that had been sealed for years. From then on, she lived in opulence without worry. There was even one who, just by chasing a log carried by the current, found on a sandbank a giant piece of top-quality icy jade. From then on, her family rose to success overnight and enjoyed happiness for generations. Precisely because of this extraordinary fortune brought by dragon energy, my master repeatedly told me, "You have these 18 guardian maidens protecting your life in turns. Only this way can you safely reach the age of 18. But before that, you must thoroughly master all the teachings of my art of physiognomy learned in my lifetime. Not a single trace of laziness is allowed. In addition, each year, you must live a full year in the house of one of the maidens. One person protects you for 1 year. 18 people protect you for exactly 18 years. At that time, I was young and ignorant, and I raised my head and asked the master, "Why do we have to live in other people's houses? Can't we live by ourselves?" "Because the fate of the maidens can only merge with yours under their own roofs. In this way, the energy of the earth nourishes the energy of the dragon. This is the way of heaven. Moreover, if you always followed me, the Dragon King would have already tracked you down, and then you would never be able to return safely to my side. When you turn 18, you may choose one of these 18 candidates to marry, and if none of them is willing, then you will be abandoning your own blessing." After saying this, my master's expression suddenly became serious and stern, ordering me that before turning 18, I must pretend to be blind, not revealing even a trace of dragon energy. Even if I truly encountered the Dragon King, I would still have to pretend blindness. This was my only way to escape his pursuit. Saying this, she personally put sunglasses on me to conceal the vessel so that strangers could not perceive it. At first, when I was young and naive, I followed my master's words, pretending to be blind and spending my days in the houses of unfamiliar familiar girls. Every New Year's Eve, I moved to the next house, wandering from place to place like this. Incredibly, I managed to evade the Dragon King's pursuit again and again. But as I grew older and began to understand things, I eventually realized what had truly happened. Over these years, I have endured enough cold stares and ridicule from others, and I have also suffered the bitterness of living at the mercy of others. I will never forget the year I was 9, when I lived in the house of the 9th maiden. At that time, she was 12 years old, beautiful, and her family was wealthy, but deep down she despised me. Not only did she violently throw a bucket of cold water at my feet, causing me to slip and fall awkwardly, but she also secretly hid my white cane, watching with disdain as I made a fool of myself in the house. Worst of all, every night she forced me to kneel and wash her feet. If the water temperature was not right, she would insult me. Once, when I could not find the soap, she kicked over the copper basin, splashing the foot-washing water all over my body, and punished me by making me kneel in the courtyard for half an hour. When my year of stay ended, as I was leaving, she deliberately placed a gong at the door and struck it with a hammer until it rang loudly, shouting to the neighbors, "That scourge is finally gone. Tonight, I treat everyone. Drink to your heart's content." She attracted half the street of onlookers, laughing loudly, leaning back as if celebrating a great joy. It was as if she wanted the whole world to know how much she hated me for being blind. Crying, I complained to my master, but she coldly said, "But they have been saving your life all this year, and I also used my own dragon breath so that their family could enjoy wealth and fortune." Ingratitude is something common in the human heart. You think you gave them wealth and fortune, so they should be grateful, but they will only think they were lucky, unrelated to you. In fact, each year I understood my master's words more deeply. Over these years, I have visited the homes of the 18 mystical maidens. I am always received with contemptuous looks and merciless rejection. No one knows that this blind man who walks slowly with his head down, leaning on a cane, carries stormy waves within. Thus I grew little by little amid this cold treatment. Fortunately, I did not disappoint my master's expectations and perfectly mastered her arts of physiognomy. But these eyes, which can see the secrets of heaven, must forever pretend to see nothing. Even my master strictly forbade me from reading faces or making predictions for others. It is not that one cannot read faces or make predictions, but I know she fears that I might leak the dragon breath and attract the deadly calamity of the Dragon King. To have the ability in my hands and not be able to use it, this oppression I have carried in my heart for more than 10 years. In the blink of an eye, I am about to turn 18. I have already lived in the houses of the 18 maidens, and now I arrive at the house of the last one, Lin Muxue. Her family controls a multinational conglomerate with dozens of listed companies under its command. She herself is a rising idol at the top, and her boyfriend is the heir of the Pei capital. The two often deliberately show affection in front of me, certain that I, being blind, cannot see anything. "Can't you make him leave? Standing here like a bird of ill omen. I'm no longer interested. Ignore him. He can't see you. Just treat him like the stone lion at the gate." That night, with my eyes open, I endured the most agonizing 28 seconds of my life. The pact of the 18 maidens that protects my life this year is the last. If tonight I cannot marry one of them in the wedding ceremony, I will not survive New Year's Eve. That day, my master hurriedly took me home, lit the dragon and phoenix candles of happiness, pasted large red characters of happiness on the windows, covered the guest bed with a red quilt, and hung red curtains. Finally, I put on the red groom's robe that had been stored at the bottom of the chest, but I had no heart to think about these things. For 18 years, useless blind man, these words have wounded me for 18 years. The looks they gave me, I could remember them even with my eyes closed. I never believed that anyone would be willing to marry me, but my master seemed to read my thoughts at a glance. "Wait, I will call the 18 maidens now. Choose one you like. Even if I chose someone, would she be willing? She would not. Then I will retrieve the dragon blood from their bodies. They do not deserve to enjoy such a blessing. Moreover, the dragon blood has stayed in their bodies for too long. Sooner or later they will suffer karmic backlash. By retrieving it, your cultivation may increase."